What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 685 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo, because that's what I do every week on this show, breaking down everything Philly sports from a fan analysis point of view that's going to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly, but not being a take artist. We're going to get into this big-time Eagles win over the Bengals. We'll go around the NFL. We've got two awesome interviews on this show, and over the next couple of shows, we're going to have more and more of them that will also be premiering on the Outside the Box podcast staggered. So you're going to get two interviews there, two interviews here, and they'll be different until all of them end up on both shows. So right now you can tune into this week's episode of OTB and hear from number one overall draft pick Brennan O'Neill and newly acquired forward for the Philadelphia Wings, Phil Caputo. And then on this week's episode of Underground Sports Philadelphia that you're listening to right now, you will have interviews from the captain, Blaze Riorden, and newly acquired goalie, Nick Damude, on this episode. That are two awesome interviews, and I hope you guys enjoy them as the Wings season is about to get underway in about a month, which is pretty crazy. But we're going to be working really close to the Wings even more this year, and I'm super excited about it. So two interviews on this show in lieu of voicemails. Leave your voicemails, guys. I want to hear from you. Leave us a voicemail. They get featured on every episode. I want to hear from you guys. So in lieu of the voicemails, we have interviews this week, which is awesome. Nonetheless, we'll also talk Tyrese Maxey and the Philadelphia 76ers and the Flyers splitting their weekend at home and seeing where they go from here, as Optimistic October is coming to a close, and we'll see where we stand on the Flyers. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials across the board. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify. Leave a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow. Helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia and lets us do more dope stuff with and for you guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are 135 subscribers away from 1,000. Let's make it happen. Let's get to 1,000 subscribers. I would love for it to happen. 135 of you subscribe for my birthday. My birthday is tomorrow, Tuesday, the 29th, so would love to hear from you guys and let that happen. You can leave a voicemail there, too. I love my birthday. My birthday's awesome. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Like the video, subscribe, click the bell icon, and leave a comment down below. Leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's free to do it. It's simple. It's easy. Just leave a 90-second voicemail. We feature them on the show every single time you leave them. So leave us a voicemail, speakpipe.com/Underground Sports Philadelphia. I post it on the socials all the time when we're ready to take them, but the voice line is open 24/7, 365. So leave us a voicemail. And of course, guys, this show is presented by the city of Vineland, and the city of Vineland municipal calendar features city organized, city sponsored, and city affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the city of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Philadelphia Eagles go into Cincinnati and get their first victory in Cincinnati in franchise history. And it feels good. It feels good to get a win in the way that they did it. They beat the Bengals 37-17, and it's brought to you by our friends over at Dead Threads. Look at this. If you're watching on YouTube, look at this shirt I'm wearing. Tell me that is not the most Underground Sports Philadelphia aesthetic for a shirt you've ever seen. Dead Threads are truly the coolest brand out there when it comes to repping your favorite sports teams with an underground vintage look to them. Dead Threads, they've been doing it for a while now, and it's all through independent art. They've got all your favorite sports teams covered, from football to baseball to hockey to soccer to basketball, college, the whole 9 yards. They also have their Breast Cancer Sucks merch going on right now. You get 10% off and go pink for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. 10% of each purchase will be donated to breast cancer awareness causes. And Dead Threads, they are truly like the coolest stuff in the game. Plus, they have, which I believe it's coming soon, it's called The Sanctum, where you get mailing updates to new things coming in. And the collections are the best, from breast cancer awareness to by sports style, custom work, Halloween time stuff going on. It's limited edition. That is all amazing. I've got my Birds jawing on right now. It's absolutely the coolest, and Dead Threads are so unique. They're so special. Click the link in the description or go to deadthreads.shop, and when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off at checkout. That's code UNDERGROUND for 10% off from our friends at Dead Threads. When you check out, click our link, use our link, get 10% off, and use code UNDERGROUND at deadthreads.shop. Shout out to Dead Threads. And our Eagles recap also brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, only 120 calories, and 8 grams of carbs. It is the best beer for tailgating, the best beer to watch while the Birds are on. Go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use the Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Maryland, New Jersey, and Delaware areas. You can also get it at your local liquor stores in those markets, but use the Kenny Finder. See who's got it on tap. Go out and get a celebratory Kenny on this Victory Monday. Must be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. So the Eagles get it done. Jalen Hurts was absolutely fantastic in this game. Saquon Barkley did his thing. The Slim Reaper, Devontae Smith, came to play, and the defense was absolutely stellar for this team. The Jalen Hurts hate, it's a bad day to be a Jalen Hurts hater. I'll tell you that much. From Dan Orlovsky to Joe DeCamera to all the panels, all the shows that do the panels that make picks and everything, you're all looking like certified clowns. Chase Daniel, Emmanuel Acho, you're all looking like a bunch of losers. Nick Wright, all of you, you look like clowns. And it feels so good to see so many bozos out themselves week in and week out about this football team. The Eagles are one Saquon Barkley drop away from being 6-1. Okay? You can't go back and do what-ifs, but this team is a good football team, guys. They're a good football team. And everyone a couple weeks ago wanted to chastise Nick Sirianni for chirping back and forth with a fan and that he lost the locker room. He's having a mental breakdown because he shaved his head. Everyone took that Tampa Bay game when A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Lane Johnson were out and took that as gospel, as that's what the Philadelphia Eagles football team was in 2024. They believe that was the Eagles this year. There was no other way the Eagles could be a good football team. Guess what, bozos? They're a good football team. They've beaten the Packers. They ended the Saints season. The Saints started off as anointed Super Bowl champions, and they haven't won a game since they played the Eagles. They come out of the bye and have won 1, 2, 3. 3 straight games out of the bye. And guess what? They're beating teams they're supposed to beat, and they just demoralized the Cincinnati Bengals in their house. Seems like a good football team to me, guys. 5-2. Like I said, could be 6-1. They outplayed the Falcons. But they're 5-2. They're in second place in the NFC East because of tiebreakers, and the Commanders have played one more game than the Eagles. But guess what? They're 3-1 on the road. And technically 4-1 on the road because that first home game was in Brazil. They're 4-1 away from Lincoln Financial Field. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Have won 3 in a row, which I believe is the third longest winning streak in the NFC, just behind the Packers and the Lions. We're not talking about the Eagles in the same breath as the Lions and the Packers and even the Vikings, who are 5-2, same record as the Eagles. We're not talking about the Eagles in the same breath as the Commanders because they have this new flashy hot toy, and Jaden Daniels is very good. But the Eagles are in that same conversation. We're not talking about them in the same conversation as, the Ravens, and the Ravens have a worse record than the Eagles now because they lost to the Browns. Look at that. The Ravens lost to the Browns, but the Eagles beat them. It's a week-to-week league. And the Eagles did what they had to do, got the job done against the Bengals. Jalen Hurts in this game, 16 of 20, 236 yards and a touchdown passing, 3 touchdowns on the ground, 3 rushing touchdowns for Jalen Hurts, ran for 37 yards. Saquon Barkley, 22 carries for 108 yards, averaged almost 5 yards a carry. Devontae Smith, 85 yards receiving. A.J. Brown, 84 yards receiving. Devontae had a touchdown as well. Grant Calcaterra on National Tight Ends Day, 3 catches for 58 yards. Zach Bond was an absolute dog, 8 tackles for 4 assisted. Nakobe Dean, 7 tackles. Reed Blankenship, 6 tackles. Cooper DeJean was a monster again. Quinyon Mitchell has been a superstar, and I've talked about that on this show, that he is a rising superstar in this league. Who else did I want to talk? Isaiah Rodgers with a great tip drill to C.J. Gardner-Johnson for the interception. And the crazy part is like the Eagles did all of this, and it was Milton Williams and Nolan Smith with half a sack each. They didn't get pressure on Joe Burrow. They didn't have to. Joe Burrow was not great in this game as the game progressed. He was 26 of 37 for 234 yards, a touchdown and an interception. The Bengals could not run the ball to save their lives. They had 12 carries for 32 yards and a touchdown from Chase Brown. Zach Moss averaged 2.2 yards a carry. Mike Gesicki was their leading receiver with 7 catches for 73 yards. You held Jamar Chase under 60 yards receiving on 9 catches. He had that touchdown, but that was all he did. The Eagles played a full team game in this one. They had 161 rushing yards, 236 passing yards, 397 total yards to the Bengals, 280. They nearly tripled the Bengals' output on the ground. They averaged 6.7 yards a play, 24 first downs, 6 of 11 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth. 59. The Eagles called one more play than the Bengals in this game, too. Eagles had more penalties called on them, 4 for 40 yards. Bengals had 1 for 3 yards. Time of possession, the Eagles had the ball for about 4 more minutes. Only 1 punt in this game. Jalen Hurts did not get sacked in this game. And I want to pull this up too, because I think this is a super impressive stat. Let's see. Where did I save this? I believe it's from Jeff Kerr. Jeff Kerr, where is your... Here we go. Jeff Kerr. Jalen Hurts, the last 3 games. 42 of 59, 71.2%. 614 yards passing. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. 8.8 yards per attempt. 127.4 passer rating. 92 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. 9 total touchdowns, 0 giveaways. Eagles are 3-0 in that stretch. Eagles are 3-0 in that stretch. Oh, Jalen Hurts on passes deemed across the middle of the field since the bye week. Three games now. 12 of 14, 176 yards and a touchdown, 142.6 passer rate. I was told Jalen Hurts couldn't pass in the middle of the field. I was told Jalen Hurts was a sideline merchant. I was told he couldn't get the ball over the field. It's almost like things take time when you have a new offensive coordinator and you're learning still. It takes a little bit of time to get acclimated and get, accustomed to things that are going on. And the Eagles are doing just that. They're clicking on all cylinders. And I said this dating back to the Browns game. I said coming out of that bye week, this quadrant of games, it's going to be the Browns, the Giants, the Bengals, the Jaguars, and the Cowboys. Cowboys being the final one before that Thursday night game against the Commanders. We were going to learn a lot about the Eagles over these 5 games, and guess what? They've shown us a lot. They're 3-0 in their last 3. They have the Jaguars coming to town next Sunday, and then the Cowboys, who do not look good, the following Sunday down in Dallas. Before things get a little difficult, where 4 out of your next 5 games would be against playoff teams for the most part, with the Commanders, the Rams on the road, the Ravens on the road. You play the Panthers, and then you're at home against the Steelers, and then you're at the Commanders. But the Eagles are taking care of business when they need to take care of business. They look like a good football team. They're playing well. Whole lot of silence on the Sirianni yappers. Now, am I saying Nick Sirianni is the Andy Reids and an elite head coach? No. But he's a damn good football coach. He wins football games for his teams as a coach. He has them prepared. And they've looked really prepared since the bye week. Since they've gotten back healthy from injuries. Since they've gotten back from traveling to a different hemisphere of the world. Okay? Maybe we just relax. I know the NFL is a week-to-week league, and I know the NFL, it's do or die every week. But maybe, just maybe, we don't microanalyze every little thing about a football team that it drives us insane. Maybe we don't take every little detail of a game and try to spin a narrative of it to get people to call into a radio station. Maybe, just maybe, you look at how the team performed on the field. You look at the positives from it and not just negatives. And you say, hey, they did a lot of good today and they won a football game. And guess what? The Eagles did a whole lot of good on Sunday and won a football game. They look dominant. They look poised. They look prepared. It's signs of a good football team. They're 5-2. I feel awesome right now. And you should too. If you're not feeling positive about this Eagles football team right now, I don't know what to tell you. Don't watch the games then. Don't tune in. If you just want to be negative all the time, there's no benefit for you. There's no benefit for you. If that's just how you want to carry yourself. If you want to just be negative all the time, there's no point in watching the games. I saw tweets yesterday during that game that said they wanted Tanner McKee in the game. Get a grip. Some people don't deserve to watch Philadelphia Eagles football. It's embarrassing when you do that. Tanner McKee. That's no slight to him. Jalen Hurts is playing damn good football right now. He's the first quarterback in the NFL history to have 3 games with 3 rushing touchdowns. He's looking pretty good. I wonder what his odds are for a certain award right now. Just looking around the league, who else is playing as good a football as Jalen Hurts? You could say Jared Goff. You could say, you could say Saquon Barkley. You could say Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. But right now, Jalen Hurts is 5th in the MVP odds behind Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who are plus 300. Patrick Mahomes is plus 600. Jared Goff is plus 800. Jalen Hurts right now is plus 1,500. And Saquon Barkley is plus 10,000. That's crazy. Jalen Hurts plus 1,500 is a nice little sprinkle on the MVP odds there. I would say that. I'm not giving betting advice there. I'm just saying that looks mighty tasty with how the Eagles are playing and the way Jalen Hurts is playing. because he's playing damn good football. And if you're an Eagles fan, you should be happy the way that this team is playing. That's a good win against a team that's fighting for their lives right now, that has a lot of talent. Quinyon Mitchell out there dominating Jamar Chase. Cooper DeJean out there playing fantastic football. You got turnovers when you needed them. They're playing good football, guys. I know it hasn't been pretty in a lot of spots, but they've gotten wins, and a lot of people are scarred about that from last year. But guess what? They're playing good football. They're winning games. That's 2 back-to-back dominant wins. All right? You should feel good about how this team is playing football right now. I certainly do. You should. Everything's going to be good. We're going to be Gucci. 5-2, sitting good in the division. And you look at the next couple games for the Commanders, who are in first place by virtue of they haven't had their bye week, so they played more games and have won more games. Commanders have the Giants on the road next week. Then they're home against the Steelers. That's going to be a tough game. Then they come to Philly to take on the Eagles. Then they're home against the Cowboys on the 24th. Is that Thanksgiving? It's the 24th. No. Interesting. Commanders are not playing the Cowboys on Thanksgiving this year. So the Commanders play the 24th at home against the Cowboys. Then they come off their bye, right? The 24th? No, December 1. When do the Commanders have their bye? Wow, they don't have their bye until December. Okay, so then they play December 1st against the Titans at home, at the Saints off their bye, home against the Eagles, home against the Falcons, and then at the Cowboys. There's opportunity here. Like I genuinely feel right now, and I think I saw a tweet too, I forget who it was from, but the Cowboys right now, we'll talk about that, they have a 12% chance to make the playoffs. This feels like a 2-team race in the division, Eagles, Commanders. We'll see how it shakes out. But these are 2 good football teams, and the Eagles are a good football team. Like I said, everyone tried to take that Buccaneers game as gospel. They were down 3 of their top 5 most important players on the roster. What do you expect? I mean, I didn't understand that people wanted Nick Sirianni fired even after the Browns game. You can't be so quick triggered by things, guys. You can't be so quick triggered by things. Sirianni's been doing a great job for this team. He wins football games. They are a good football team since Sirianni has come in and started coaching this team. Sure, last year there was the collapse and everything. But guess what? They win games. And the players have to execute on the field too. They're winning. That's what matters. Go Birds, baby. Leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/undergroundsportsphiladelphia. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear how you're feeling about this football team, how you're feeling about the Flyers, how you're feeling about the Sixers. I want to hear your off-season thoughts for the Phillies. Let me hear from you. Speakpipe.com/undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Leave me a voicemail. Let's go around the NFL. But before we do, it is brought to you by our awesome pals at Paramount Plus. That's right, Paramount Plus. We are a Paramount pod here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Paramount Plus is the best way to stream the NFL all season long. The Eagles will be on Paramount Plus again this week. They were just on it here against the Bengals. They'll be on it again this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Paramount Plus, truly the best bang for your buck streaming platform on the market, with their back catalog of everything from Nickelodeon to your old Spike TV shows that are now Paramount TV, to just the catalog of live sports, live CBS, the Carabao Cup available, the Premier League, Champions League available on Paramount Plus, new seasons of shows like Ink Master, Lioness, the whole 9 yards, all on Paramount Plus. You can stream the NFL all season long on Paramount Plus for free. Click the link in the description. Start watching the NFL on Paramount Plus for free, or sign up for Paramount Plus using our link in the description as well. Thank you to Paramount Plus for sponsoring the podcast. Let's go around the NFL. The NFL is a doozy right now as I record this here early on Monday. But Thursday Night Football, Vikings and Rams. The Rams take down the Vikings 30-20. Sam Darnold's head almost got absolutely ripped off on a face mask that was not called. The Packers take down the Jaguars 30-27 in Jacksonville. The Cardinals survive the Dolphins 28-27. The Patriots take down the Jets 25-22. The Browns, like I mentioned earlier, beat the Ravens 29-24. The Eagles take down the Bengals 37-17. The Texans hold off the Colts 23-20. The Lions go sicko mode at home against the Titans 52-14. The Falcons take down the Bucks 31-26. The Chargers electrify the Saints 26-8. The Bills take down the Seahawks 31-10. The Commanders, in the most unbelievable fashion, beat the Bears 18-15. The Chiefs hold off the Raiders 27-20. The Broncos trample the Panthers 28-14, and the 49ers hold off the Cowboys 30-24. The Cowboys are falling apart, guys. The Cowboys are falling apart. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott has nothing on offense. He's getting absolutely lit up. He's throwing interceptions left and right. The defense stinks. Trayvon Diggs is getting triggered by reporters immediately after a game when a reporter is quote tweeting a clip of asking what Trayvon is doing on a play. The reporter is not wrong for asking that question because Trayvon was just absolutely like lollygagging on that play. Trayvon drops a D's nuts joke on him. It wasn't a joke. He was very hostile. Just a weird situation there with Trayvon Diggs and the Cowboys and a reporter after the game. Reporter's just doing his job. Trayvon, you weren't doing your job. Your team stinks. I've said it all along. Trayvon Diggs is wildly overrated. And Cowboys fans have nothing to say now. They're awfully quiet in their little holes. Just they don't crawl out of the holes until they're ready to pounce and trying to talk shit on another team losing. But when it happens to their team, they're quiet as a mouse. Quiet as a mouse, those Cowboys fans. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to watch. But, everything that happened this weekend outside of the Bears blowing it on that Hail Mary, just what a stupid, the player from the Bears who is talking shit to Commanders fans and not watching the play happen and then is out of position, is trying to rush over. Volleyball tips the ball up right into Noah Brown's hands. Just an absolute imbecile move. I couldn't believe it in real time that happened. I was stunned. So the Bears let the Eagles down there because if the Bears beat the Commanders, the Eagles are in first place all alone in the NFC East. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The NFL shaped up pretty good for the Eagles this week, though. We still have Steelers-Giants on Monday Night Football, but the Seahawks lose. The Buccaneers lose. The Vikings lose. It would have been nice if the Jaguars beat the Packers. Would have been nice if the Dolphins beat the Cardinals. The Browns beating the Ravens is interesting. Shows the Ravens are human, but, obviously the Eagles play them later on, and Lamar is unbelievable against the NFC, so that's going to be an interesting game in Baltimore later this year. The Lions are a juggernaut right now. And the Saints lost again, so that's pretty nice there. And, the NFL was the NFL. No bye weeks this week in Week 8. I think there's byes again this week in Week 9, so we'll see how that all shakes out. But the NFL is it's an ever-changing beast. And looking at the standings right now, AFC East, the Bills are 6-2. The rest of that division all have 2 wins. 2-5 Dolphins, 2-6 Patriots, 2-6 Jets. The Chiefs are 7-0. Broncos are 5-3. Chargers are 4-3. Raiders are 2-6. Steelers 5-2, still yet to play on Monday night. The Ravens are 5-3. Bengals are 3-5. Browns are 2-6. Texans are 6-2. Colts are 4-4. Jags are 2-6, and the Titans are 1-6. And then the NFC, Commanders are 6-2. Eagles are 5-2. Cowboys are 3-4. Giants are 2-5. Cardinals are 4-4, 49ers are 4-4, Seahawks are 4-4, and the Rams are 3-4. The Lions 6-1, Packers 6-2, Vikings 5-2, Bears 4-3, Falcons 5-3, Buccaneers 4-4, Saints 2-6, and the Panthers are 1-7. And that's your Around the NFL, brought to you by Paramount Plus. But before we get into our interviews with Philadelphia Wings captain Blaze Riorden and new Philadelphia Wings goalie Nick Damude, want to talk to you guys about our friends over at FOCO, the official, officially licensed merchandise and apparel from all of your favorite sports teams. You guys have seen me wearing the overalls all the time. The shorts-alls, I'll be rocking them next season with the Phils. They've got the velour track suits that I got to get for myself as well for the Eagles. They've got Eagles overalls, neon chains that look absolutely awesome, like neon turnover chains, neon signs that we're getting Phillies and Eagles ones for the studio down here. FOCO is the best way to upgrade your fandom in all the best ways possible. Click our link in the description and upgrade your fandom with our friends over at FOCO. It's foco.com. Click the link, our specific link in the description, and upgrade your fandom with our friends over at FOCO. And also, our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. You want to stand out in the crowd, go into an Eagles game, go into a Flyers game, Sixers, getting ready for the Phillies. Spring training is a few months away. The Union, getting ready for their season next year as well. The Wings, the Water Dogs, gear up with PHI Apparel Company. They are simply the best. Stand out in the crowd with all the unique designs for Philly sports fans and officially licensed Underground Sports Philadelphia merch as well. Click our link in the description or go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next merch order. That's code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next merch order at phiapparel.co, so you can stand out in the crowd with the best of them. And thank you to PHI Apparel Company for being our awesome merch providers. Now, without any further ado, let's kick it to our interviews with Blaze Riorden and Nick Damude from Philadelphia Wings Media Day, right here on Underground Sports Philadelphia. Everybody, we're back here at Philadelphia Wings Media Day and joined by the captain, my good man, Blaze Riorden.
KB.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, too.
Congratulations on the wedding, first and foremost.
Thank you.
What's the excitement coming into this season? Another year with the Wings and a lot of new faces, but obviously that goal and expectation of winning a championship still remains the same. What's the excitement level going into this year?
Yeah, excitement levels at an all-time high. Obviously, with our draft picks, the expansion draft, a lot goes into it. But for me personally, I think this is, a pretty important year in my career. And, for the Philadelphia Wings organization, I feel like the past 5 years we've had stuff to build on. But, the winning aspect is really what this is all about. And that's the biggest step that we have to take as a group. And, it's kind of now or never in the sense of, there's only so many years that you could take to build. And now it's time to put that on paper and take care of it 60 minutes at a time as a team.
New head coach in the fold, but obviously Rubes has been here the duration you've been here as well. What's, the conversations there with Rubes as he gets set for his first year as a head coach, and what's your excitement level of playing for him and that new voice there?
Yeah, I think Coach Rubel, along with Coach TK and Coach McCready's, we're TK's coming back, Coach McCready's is new, but, just kind of a fresh outlook. And the thing that I've always noticed about Coach Rubel is that, actions speak louder than words with him. He's always in the gym at 8 a.m., he's the first guy out to practice, and you kind of notice that stuff. And I think his standard of the way things need to be done are very high, and he's going to hold guys accountable. Obviously there's a lot of responsibility as a head coach, but there's really no one in this league that understands what this organization represents and what we need to do to achieve our goals than Coach Rubel. So super excited to follow his lead. Excited to see what he brings, for what we're expecting to be a really tough training camp, and hopefully the results follow after that.
You've played with and against Brennan O'Neill at a couple different levels, and just knowing what he brings to the table, and obviously a lot of it comes from the field game, but seeing just the pure talent that he is, and knowing that he's coming into this organization now that is littered with blue chip guys, yourself, Mitch Jones, Joe Resiteritz, Holden Catoni, and the list goes on, and you add somebody like Brennan O'Neill to that mix. What does that do for this organization?
Yeah, for me personally, getting to play on the same side as him as a lefty, kind of brings me back to my early days with the Wings when I got the opportunity to play with Matt Rambo. He was newer to the game. I didn't have nearly as much knowledge or experience as I do now, but, I find myself working well with guys that like to have the ball in their stick, that are threats on their own, and then, you add a little bit of that crash and bang that I bring, and hopefully we can have the same success that we did. But, as far as Brennan, as a player and, what his career is going to represent by the time it's all said and done, from what I've got to know and playing in the same team and winning a world championship with him and also playing against him, is that, he's a pretty steady guy. Like, he doesn't get too high on the highs, lows on the lows. And, I think his biggest fault is that sometimes he's too unselfish. He cares about the team more than he cares about getting his, but, he's a generational talent. He has everything he needs to be successful in this league, and I'm excited to be there for when he needs it, and also, feed off of his young energy, and hopefully that connection, you mix that in with the pieces that we have on our offense already, and hopefully we just are able to take a big step forward.
It's rare for an organization to add 7 guys who have experience in this league all at once at different position groups as well. When you look at who's coming in here from that PCLC dispersal draft and just the talent across the board, those guys having the postseason experience that they've had over the past couple of years, how invaluable is that to this team? Obviously, knowing last year wasn't where you guys wanted to be, but you still have the talent that was here that's back. You add Brennan O'Neill, and now you add 7 guys with NLL experience.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely massive. Guys that have been there and done that, but also, it follows all the way down to their coaching staff. Coach Kaluski was their head coach in Panther City, so those guys have an expectation. For me personally, Coach Kaluski was here when I first started my journey here, so I kind of know his expectations. So I feel like the learning curve is gonna, be a quick one, and hopefully those guys bring a new spark and a new energy to our team that, I think with, all the moving parts going on, I just think it's probably the smoothest group of guys that you can bring in that are going to make an impact. But the transition, between adding this many guys is going to be, pretty smooth in my eyes.
When you see, those 7 guys coming in, and then a couple weeks later, TK gets announced he's coming back. How excited were you to see him back with this team where things got started here? He was here, goes on, coaches for 3 years as a head coach, gets that experience, and now that experience is back behind the bench for you guys.
Yeah, it's huge for me personally, and I think for an organization as a whole. For me, I think as an athlete, you get caught up in the winning and losing a lot, and when it's not going your way, it's hard to find confidence. It's hard to kind of find that, not excitement, but that thing that's going to push you over the edge when it's not coming easy. And, the biggest thing that Coach TK did for me early in my career is he always instilled confidence, and he always had a contagious energy around him during practice. He always had his stick. He always had running shoes on. He was running around. He was always, be on your tippy toes, be on your tippy toes. And, I think that energy is going to be huge in, compiling throughout a training camp of just getting that buzz, that excitement, that confidence going. So, come week 1 that, the past is the past and the future is what's ahead of us.
And when you bring that up, the past is the past, and kind of instilling that for the fans as well. And, we talked to Mitch earlier, and he said, last year one of the faults of the team is we didn't perform well at home. What's kind of the precedent that you guys want to set for this year, knowing that, we want to make this place absolute hell for our opponents to play in, and we want to make it an environment that we're super comfortable winning in?
Yeah, well, I think the fans take care of one half of that, as far as, being here, supporting us, being loud. I truly believe we do have some of the best fans in the league. They know what they're talking about. They love the game of lacrosse, and they love, the storied franchise of the Wings, who have been successful, in early days. But, for us personally, I think, we can't get outworked. Lacrosse is a unique game in that it's a game of momentum, and anything can happen. The ball bounces funny ways, but one thing that you can control each night is kind of the effort and attitude that you put forth. And there's a couple games last year that I thought even in our home arena that we got outworked, and that's part of one of our pillars of standard this year is that we're not going to get worked out or outworked any game, but especially at home, in front of fans that are wearing our colors and are cheering us on. We need to use them as an advantage, and that starts with getting off the fast starts. Last year, I can't remember more than 2 or 3 games that we came out with a lead. We were always chasing behind. It was always an uphill battle, and that kind of takes the fans out of it a little bit. And then, obviously that trickles down to us players. So coming off fast starts, starting third periods off, strong, and, getting back to, taking those 1-goal games that we lost last year that we considered learning experiences and, actually learning from them and turning those into, wins. And even if they're 1-goal wins, this league's hard to win in, and we'll take any win by one, and we just have to flip that script.
With all the new faces coming in, who are you most excited to kind of get to know and play alongside and have them be a part of this organization?
Yeah, I think for me personally, we talked about Brennan, but I think a guy like Phil Caputo kind of strikes me as someone that I think we're going to feed off each other's energies. We play a similar game that we're not afraid to get to the dirty areas. We like to get inside, and I think he does some things really well that I could feed off of and learn from him. And I also think as a guy that is always looking over to the right side, feeding the ball. You got someone like Joe Ressateris and Sammy Leclerc who have shown that they can be great in this league, and adding a piece like that to make their job easier, but also give me another target to look at in the inside is definitely super exciting.
Coming into another year for you, and you've been a mainstay with this organization since they've come back. What's kind of the personal expectation for you and what you want to get out of this season? Obviously, the championship at the end of the year is obviously the goal every single time, but what are some things that you have set out for you this year as a leader, as a player on this team, and kind of a face of a franchise?
Yeah, it's been a great journey. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but there's been some days and years that it can't get off my mind. I care about winning here in Philadelphia just as much as anything else in my lacrosse career right now, and I think the organization and the staff that they put forward gives us every chance to do that. But for me personally, it's just winning each day. As I get older in my career, I realize it takes more to be able to compete at this level. So, for me, setting a standard for myself to be able to look in the mirror every day and know, I'm not just talking about it, but actually, putting my best foot forward for, the 24 guys on our roster. Hopefully that gives me internal confidence that I can then, bring to our team. And, I expect that, I mentioned training camp's going to be a lot more difficult this year, but I just think, with the new pieces, the new coaches, and the history of the past few years, that it's going to be super competitive. Every single practice, every time we get to put this uniform on, be together, there's one intent, and that's do everything we can to win, and just holding guys to that standard while following it myself.
And I know you're one who loves to play for the fans, and no matter where you're playing, whether it's Team USA, NLL, PLL, whatever it may be. How excited are you, for that first home game, with this new look Wings team, to get out there, hear the 10,000 plus fans in that Wells Fargo Center going absolutely crazy for you guys and going out and putting on a show for that first home game?
Yeah, first and foremost, they deserve that. They've been in our corner, and they deserve that. And I was actually laughing because Brennan, when I saw him, I gave him a big hug, and he's like, wow, man, this is pretty cool. Like, I was like, there's not even one fan in here. I was like, it's just the turf and the arena. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's cool. I said, yeah, no, it doesn't get much cooler than this. As far as being a professional lacrosse player and the atmosphere that you're going to play in. And, I chuckled with him and was like, you know about Philly fans, right? And he's like, yeah, they're passionate. I said, passionate in both ways, but, we're going to make sure we give them something to actually cheer about this year. And he laughed, and we dapped each other up and, went to our station. So, it's all talk right now, but at the end of the day, it's about action, and, we got to take action this year.
You and I have been doing this with this team since the beginning, so yeah. I'm happy to have you back for another year, man, and looking forward to, just a successful season for you, for the team, and hopefully at the end of the year we're celebrating a championship.
Yeah, I appreciate that, KB, and you'll be one of the first guys I hug. My man.
Let's go.
Appreciate it.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
All right, everybody, we are here at Philadelphia Wings Media Day and joined by a new goalie for the Philadelphia Wings, Nick Damude. Nick, welcome to Philly, first of all. And just what's the excitement level, finally here at the facility and kind of taking it all in? Obviously, you've been here as a visitor before, but what's the excitement level being here as a Philadelphia Wing now?
Well, happy to be here first and foremost, but pretty excited. I think I know the coaching staff pretty well, and obviously I know a bunch of the players on the team, so I think we're building towards something special here, so I'm pretty excited to be here.
How much does it kind of ease the nerves a little bit for you as a player and just as a person, too, coming into a new environment when there's also 6 other guys along with you that you were on that PCLC team together, and Tracy Koleski also coming in with you as well? How much does that kind of just, ease some things out in a new environment?
Yeah, it definitely makes it easier, some familiarity with teammates and obviously TK behind the bench, but especially goalie perspective, those guys have played in front of me. They know my style. I know their style. So it's obviously a little difficult sometimes when you go to a new team, learning everyone's playing styles and how to play with each other. So it's going to help a lot having those guys.
You talk about having guys playing in front of you, to have, Connor Sellers and Liam Patton coming along for this ride to Philly again, and Liam's obviously played here in the past as well, to have those 2 guys in front of you, but also now, a guy like Alex Pace, a guy like Ryan Wagner.
Yep.
How excited are you to have this defense in front of you and kind of have, a scrappy unit with 2 guys that you're familiar with, 2 guys you've seen from the opposite side of the bench and knowing how they play? What's the excitement level of the defense in front of you?
Pretty excited. I think this might be one of the best defenses I've played in front of. So, that's defense. Obviously, they make goalies look good. So, the better they can make me look, the better we're going to do. So, but yeah, just pretty excited. Obviously, I played with Alex Pace actually in St. Catharines. So I know him pretty well. I know his playing style, and he's a great player. So having him and his leadership too that he brings to the team is going to be big.
What's it like, coming into a team where, the Wings last year, obviously not the season that they wanted to have, kind of underperformed with a roster loaded with talent, the 7 of you from Panther City coming in as well, and then you had the number 1 overall pick in Brennan O'Neill. Just looking at this roster, how excited does it have you, and how much are you itching to get out on that floor December 1st in San Diego, and then obviously here for that home opener with just a roster that is loaded top to bottom? Yeah,
it's exciting. I think as soon as any season ends, you're itching to get right back to it. There's obviously unfinished business. On my end, on Philly's end, I think on everybody's. When you don't win a championship, that's what everyone wants. That's where everyone wants to be at the end of the year. So, and I think you can't do that without making playoffs. So, that's first and foremost. Have a good regular season, make the playoffs. Anything can happen. So I'm pretty excited. The teams, I think all the right steps were made this offseason, and I'm pretty excited. I think we're going to do something special.
Like I mentioned, you've been here as a visitor before. How excited are you to have, 10,000 plus raucous Philly fans cheering for you rather than,
yeah,
bantering and coming at you as a visitor?
Yeah, it's been Philly's always been one of my favorite places to play. I've always been a guy who tries to feed off of any type of energy, negative energy, and the fans here are great for loving their team and great for giving it to away teams. So that's gonna be great to have on my side, and have some support from the fans and everything. So that's gonna be awesome. Hopefully, we're gonna feed off that all year.
As a new player coming into a city, what's kind of your introduction to the fans of your play style as a goalie and what they can expect from you, kind of being that anchor back there for this team?
Yeah, I think I've always I've tried to be consistent. I think that's the best thing and biggest thing you can do as a goalie is be consistent, so your team knows what they're going to get out of you every single night. They know they're not getting a Jekyll and Hyde who's going to show up one game and the next game he's not. So I try to do that every game. I'm a competitor. I hate losing, hate losing. So I'm going to do anything I can to try and win any game that I'm in.
How excited are you to play alongside somebody like a Blaze Riorden, Mitch Jones and Joe Restero. It's those three
Yeah.
kind of being the big three on the offensive side of the ball, to have those three on your side and knowing what they bring to the table, not only talent-wise but leadership-wise as well.
I mean, only having them score on me in practice is going to be nice, so the world can't see it. They're great players, and I've heard everything I've heard. They're great teammates too, so I'm pretty excited. Obviously the the game of lacrosse is to outscore your opponent, so the more they can score, the better we're going to do, and they score a lot, so I'm pretty excited.
What's kind of the expectation for you coming into, a new city, new environment as well, kind of giving that first impression to the fans and to this organization of what you bring to the table and your expectations for this season as well?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and we talked about a lot when I was in Panther City, was a trust. With a new team, I have to earn everybody's trust on this team. Obviously I've played with some of them before, but that doesn't change anything. I got to earn the trust of my teammates so they know they can trust me. Whenever they make a mistake, I'm going to bail them out. I make a mistake, they're going to bail me out. And same with the fans. I got to earn their trust. There's only one way to do that, and it's to perform. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
When you have, Brennan O'Neill on this team and bringing in the number one overall pick and the expectation that comes with that, how excited are you to kind of see his game develop at the box lacrosse level? Obviously, he's got a ton of field experience from college and pro, but to bring him into the box game and see what he's going to be able to do with his size, his skill sets, how juiced up does it have you to have Brennan O'Neill on this team?
Yeah, I mean, I just met him for the first time maybe an hour ago, and he's absolute unit of a human being. He's big, he's strong, which is going to be perfect for his translation from field to box. And from everything I've seen a lot of his college highlights, a lot of his PLL stuff. He's an unreal player, and he thinks the game real well. So in box, obviously, it gets a bit faster. It's a bit faster paced. So with his IQ and his size and everything, I think he's going to do just fine. Can do real well for us.
What's the excitement level of just being able to call Philadelphia like home base for you? You obviously as a visitor love coming to Philly and feeding off the fans, but to be able to call Philly, your home barn and make this, your new home city, how excited are you for that?
Yeah, pretty excited. Actually, I got drafted in Philadelphia this one in 2018. It was held in Philly, and that was the year I got drafted. So Philly's always had a little bit of a special place in my heart, and now being able to call it home, being closer to home, everything, it's awesome. I can't wait to step on the floor that first game.
And how excited are you to play for Coach Rubel, defensive-minded head coach
Yeah.
as well, to have him behind the bench, his first, go at being a head coach as well. How excited are you to play for him?
Yeah, Rubes is awesome. He coached me in junior A. He was my D coach for St. Catharines, so I know him a bit well than probably some of the other guys. His style is he's like me. He's a competitor. He wants the best out of all of his players. So anytime you get a coach like that, it's easy to go to war for him, and it's easy to try and perform and do your best night in and night out. So it's really exciting, especially him getting that step up in the head coach role. I think that's awesome for him, and that's on us to perform for him.
Nick, we're stoked to have you in Philly. I'm excited to watch you back there anchoring this team, and go Wings, man.
Yeah, excited. Thank you.
Shout out to Blaze and Nick Damude for hopping on with your boy at Wings Media Day. Absolute best. I'm looking forward to another season of Wings coverage here from Underground Sports Philadelphia and the Outside the Box podcast. We're working on some huge stuff with the Wings that I'm very excited about. And you're going to hear more from our Media Day interviews. We had 7 interviews that'll be popping up on shows over the next week or so. And I'm very excited to share them with you guys and give you a little peek behind the curtain for the Philadelphia Wings, a team that you should be paying attention to. They're a ton of fun. Go out to some games this year and enjoy a team that has a lot of special things happening for them. So shout out to the Wings for having us out at Media Day, and look forward to more interviews for you guys on the show. But let's hop into the Philadelphia 76ers. And their big win in Indianapolis, their first win of the season against the Pacers yesterday in overtime. Yesterday being Sunday, as I record this late on Sunday. It is brought to you by our friends over at 47 Brand. You guys see me rocking the 47 Brand hats all the time. The best hats in the game. I'm not even joking. Like, they are my favorite hats, hands down. They fit so well. The styles are to die for. They've got every single fandom under the sun, from MLB, NFL, NBA, NHL, minor league baseball, NASCAR, Premier League soccer, special occasion things like throwing it back to old school championship games. They've got college gear as well. 47 is truly the best, and if you want to shop for your favorite sports fan, click our link in the description. Get free shipping on all orders with 47 Brand when you use our link. That's free shipping on all orders from 47 Brand when you use our link in the description. Shop for your favorite sports fan. Get all your Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, Sixers gear, because they truly have the best in the game. 47 Brand is the place to do it. Shout out to 47 for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. The Sixers finally in the win column after an overtime 118-114 win against the Pacers. As Tyrese Maxey goes for 45 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in 48 minutes. Eric Gordon dished out 15 points. I think he had 12 in the first quarter. Kelly Oubre with 14. Caleb Martin with 17 and 12. Andre Drummond with 17 rebounds. Almost had a double-double. He's 1 point shy. Here's the thing with the Sixers. This is a great game from Tyrese Maxey. He started a little slow, and he bounced back in a big way and really carried this team. They really need Joel Embiid and Paul George back ASAP, at least one of them, because, man, it feels like this team was built to have this supporting cast while your big three were healthy. And when 2 of the 3 are out, it's really a glaring, shiny, blank space for this team when they're playing. And when you have backup guards that are in their late 30s, almost 40, with Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon, and you have guys who haven't played in the NBA outside of 3 games in a preseason, like Jared McCain, and it's just a weird roster assembling, and I'm looking forward to Joel and Paul George being healthy and them getting back out on the court and playing with this team and seeing what they look like as a complete team. It was an ugly win for the Sixers. They were down at the half, I believe, 54 to 58 or 52 to 58. And then Maxey went sicko mode. In the third quarter, the Sixers bounced back, got 7 points back. They won the third quarter. They won the overtime period. They lost the fourth quarter by 1, but a 118-114 win. We'll take it. You get that first win, kind of weight off your shoulders. They play again on Wednesday night at home against the Pistons, the Tobias Harris and B-Ball Paul welcome home game. And then they're home on Saturday against the Grizzlies before they head out west for a 3-game road trip to kick off November against the Suns, the Clippers, and the Lakers before they come back home against the Hornets. And then the NBA Cup, the Emirates Cup, kicks off on November 12th against the Knicks. And then that's going every Tuesday and Friday through December, I think. Most of December that gets played through. So we'll see. I mean, it's really a wait-and-see moment to see what this team truly is when Joel and Paul George are back, because we haven't seen this team at full strength yet. We have not seen this team at full strength, and that's what's really going to matter, seeing them play all together, seeing what the true rotations for Nick Nurse are going to be. And then you can kind of make fair assessments about this team and what needs to be added, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be adjusted. Wait and see. That's kind of where we're at right now with the Sixers, and that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not taking anything that happens right now too drastically. A 45-point Tyrese Maxey performance, I will take that to the moon. I'll cash that in at the bank any day. But everything else, I'm kind of just taking with a grain of salt, and it's like you kind of have to wait and see what everything else will be like once Joel and Paul George are back. You know? So, I mean, it's going to be okay. And all in all, I'm kind of just waiting for the in-season tournament. That's going to be a lot of fun. I feel like the players and fans are now more into it. And one of those things that as soon as it started, I was like, all right, this is going to be kind of cool. And I was into it. The court got released for the Sixers, and it's not that much of a make your eyes bleed type of court. It's very clean. It's very like cool tone colored with the blue. I like it. I think it's going to look really nice at the Wells Fargo Center. And, you know, there's potential there. And, I mean, it's a trophy at the end of the day. And I say this a lot in the PLL when it comes to the championship series. I say this a lot. You know, I think Matt and Dom said this a ton, too, on Top Bins when that show was running for us. Trophies are in that case forever. Flags fly forever. Banners fly forever. I've said it about the Phillies a ton, too. When it comes to, you know, winning the division this year, when it comes to making the playoffs, flags fly forever. And you can't take that away from anybody. It's going to be something that you remember forever. And at the end of the day, I will take banners. I will take trophies any way I can get them, and I will brag about them until the end of time, because that's what being a fan is all about. And you can't prevent fans from doing that. You know, that it's silly to try to police fans on how to celebrate and what to celebrate. If at the end of the day a trophy is being won, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain about winning a trophy. I'm not going to be like, oh, it doesn't matter because it's some new fugazi, new fabricated thing. No, it's a trophy. And I'm excited for the Emirates Cup. I'm excited to see how the Sixers perform in another season with it being in the mix. And I dropped my pen. With it being in the mix and kind of just like how they approach those games during the week as opposed to some of the other games. You know, they still count towards the regular season in terms of your wins and losses, but there's a little elevation to them, and I think that's cool. I think that gets fans more involved because the NBA, for as long as I can remember, has not really mattered for me until Christmas. That's when the NBA starts kicking in my brain. You've made the NBA relevant earlier in the season now, and I think that's fun, that's cool, and I'm excited to see how the Sixers approach the Emirates Cup, and that all starts November 12th. At home against the Knicks. Let's see. Let's check out No Free Ads, my favorite ticketing app, and see where those tickets kind of cost. It's not bad. You can get in the building Tuesday, November 12th for the Emirates Cup. 2 tickets. Let's filter this in. 2 tickets, cheapest. Up top, which is always the fun place to be, Section 220, row 10 for $64 each ticket. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. And it's against the Knicks. You know, it's a rivalry game. There's a lot of juice there from the playoffs, so that's a lot of fun. And you can do that. We need. I got to get Kyle Zorn on this podcast. He runs comms for TickPick. We need TickPick as the official ticketing partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. The way that we use that for company outings, the way that we use that to go to games, TickPick is made for this company. They are the best. And if you're not using them, it's not even an ad. Truly, you're kidding yourself if you're using any other app that's making you pay fees out the wazoo. TickPick, no fees, cheapest tickets you'll find. They are the best. Let's get something going, Kyle. Let's get you on the pod. Let's talk about the platform and everything. And let's get TickPick as the official ticketing partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm down. Let's make it happen. let's wrap up here. The Flyers, they split their weekend at home. It is brought to you by our friends over at Tomahawk Shades, the best small batch eyewear in the game. From sunglasses to blue light glasses to prescription lenses, Tomahawk Shades has you covered. They've been rocking with us for years now. They are truly the best. I'm always wearing my Tomahawk Shades when I'm on the road, when I'm just outside. Blue light glasses, I got them on when I'm watching TV, when I'm watching the Flyers, when I'm watching all of my favorite sports teams. When I'm editing pods, I've got them on. They're truly the best. Download the Tomahawk Shades app in the App Store or Google Play Store, or go to tomahawkshades.com. And when you go to checkout, when you get your cart filled to the brim, use code USP for 25% off your next order. That's code USP at checkout at tomahawkshades.com or in the Tomahawk Shades app for 25% off your next order. So the Flyers split their 2-game homestand over the weekend. They win on Saturday 7-5. Coots and TK both with hat tricks. Michkov came in and absolutely sniped one. Those boys combined for 12 points in that game, and then they lose to the Canadiens 4-3 on Sunday night, and that was a game where it felt like it was getting out of hand, and then they were clawing back, and that also happened in the the Kraken game earlier this month against Seattle. They were down, and then they kind of clawed back, and then Seattle pulled away. That's been a problem for the Flyers, and especially in the second period, I think that's really happened, and that happened in the Kraken game as well. Yeah, the second period has been weird. The Flyers need to have a better approach to the second period. Because in that Kraken game, they lost the period 4-0. This Canadiens game, they lost it 3-0 when it was a 1-1 game going into the first intermission. I know they had a brand new goalie starting, first NHL game and all that, but like the defense needs to be better in front of him. You need to be able to capitalize on scoring opportunities. You're at home. That's a game that you should win. And you kind of let the Canadiens run all over you in that second quarter, or in the second period, sorry. And it was just a game that was winnable, that the Flyers should have won this homestand instead of splitting it. You'll take the split after, some not so great performances against the Capitals earlier in the week, but overall, second periods have been crushing for the Flyers this year, and it's just not how you win hockey games. You can't win when you're allowing teams to decimate you in the second period, and you just have to have a better approach. You have to have a better approach, and we'll see where it goes. Tuesday, they play the Bruins in Boston, and then Thursday, Halloween night, they're at home against the Blues, and that wraps up Optimistic October. You just got to remember also that this is year one of the rebuild. Last year was year zero. This is year one. There's going to be a lot of moving parts. There's going to be some changes. You just got to take it with a grain of salt. And when they win, you celebrate it. When they lose, you see why they lost and what they have to do to fix things. I'm not going to overreact to losses. This is not a team that I think is, in Stanley Cup or bust mode. Like I said, this is year one of a rebuild. So you take the positives, you weigh the negatives, and you come to a summation from there, game over game. We'll see how things continue to progress for this team. We're not quitting on them just yet. October's also not over, so hopefully, for my birthday, they can take down the Bruins and pounce on those clowns, because I fucking hate that team so much for a multitude of reasons. But yeah, Optimistic October still in full swing, and it's unfortunate that they didn't win the game against the Canadiens. That would have been a really nice confidence boost going into this game against the Bruins, but you'll take a split, especially a 7-5 win the way that they won. Like I said, Coots, TK, and Michkov combining for 12 points, 5 points each for Coots and TK, 2 for Michkov, Ristolainen with 2 points, Sealer with 2 points, Owen Tippett with 2 points, Noah Cates, Morgan Frost, and Travis Sanheim all with 1. Sam Ersson was great. Even in a game where they scored 5 goals, he made 21 saves. The Flyers did what they had to do, and they dominated. They were up 2-0, and then it was 3-3, and then that third period, they came to play and made adjustments. So the biggest thing right now for me looking at the Flyers right now is they sit at 2-5-1. They have to be better coming out of the first intermission. That's where they're getting bruised. And you handed the Minnesota Wild their first true loss of the season. So I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. That's a good accomplishment for this team, and just focus on being better out of that first intermission. I think they'll figure some things out for sure. That's all I got for you guys on this one. Again, thank you to Blaze Riorden and Nick Damude for their Media Day interviews, and thank you to the Philadelphia Wings for having us out at Media Day. It was truly an awesome experience. It was just us and CBS 3 Philadelphia there for media-wise. They also had other sponsor interviews, but media-wise, it was just us, so it was an honor to be alongside CBS for that. And we want to be a place that is bringing you top-tier Wings coverage and your place to get Philadelphia Wings coverage and interviews and everything all the time. We want to be that outlet for everyone, especially since that's where we got a big start for ourselves in the media game and not just being podcasters. We got credentialed with the Wings first, and we want to continue delivering awesome coverage for them and every team. So that's why we ask you guys to follow us on the social medias at Underground PHI across the board on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube, everything. Follow us on the socials. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, Instagram and Threads, KBIZZLE11. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Please subscribe. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping the show continue to grow, helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and lets us continue to do more dope stuff with and for you guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe at youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. We're 135 subscribers away from 1,000. It's been a long journey, a long grind, a lot of ups and downs, but I want to hit that mark, guys. Let's get to 1,000, and then we start going plaque chasing. youtube.com/@undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. And, of course, leave us a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/undergroundsportsphiladelphia. Voicemail line's open 24/7, 365. Leave us a voicemail. Want to hear from you guys and feature you on the show. And this show is presented by the City of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100, Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 685 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, Victory Monday episode of Underground Sports Philadelphia, my final episode as a 30-year-old. When I talk to you guys again, I'll be 31. We'll be making some stuff happen. Looking forward to another awesome, fun, exciting, and healthy year. Thank you guys for all your support, and I'll see you guys on the next one. But until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here, and I'm signing off. Peace.